everyone. In this COVID-19 special feature of COL Insights, we tackle how the latest developments on this pandemic affects the economy and the markets as well. Today, we are fortunate to be talking to the House of Representatives Chair of Ways and Means, Congressman Joey Salceda, on why he thinks the recent passed law granting emergency powers to the President can help solve this crisis. Hello, Congressman Joey.
Hello, Mars, and good afternoon po sa lahat ng mga COL community.
Hello, everyone. So, Congressman Joey, you are one of the proponents of this emergency law, where President Duterte may realign the national budget and even take over certain businesses if necessary. I guess that is the concern of a lot of people, that certain businesses may be taken over. So to allay the fears of some people, can you tell us why this is necessary?
Wala, it's yung nakalagay po sa batas is just to direct operations, no such thing as takeover. So at ang it's only for COVID and only for health. So basically transport, hospitals, and possibly some mga producer po ng medical supplies. Yun lang po ang kumbaga is covered by that so-called direct to direct the operations of, instead of to take over the ownership of. That doesn't appear in the law.
So that's necessary in your view. Kailangan yan talaga.
Direct the operations?
Yes.
Pero hindi wala man take over eh. Direct operations, it can be done through agreements naman eh. Through essentially through negotiations with like ngayon, nagsasara yung marami na po nagsasara mga hospital. So pwedeng kausapin po ng gobyerno kung paano po sila makakatulong pa rin despite their capacity. So we can have like a rational management of the ICU or hospital beds in Metro Manila kasi na 60% ng lahat ng mga infections nandito eh. So yun ang kasi di ba pag meron kang if you look at it as a pool of resources, and therefore you need to direct the operations. But beyond that, I think wala namang balak ang gobyerno. Kasi talagang mas marami pa naman kailangan gawin ng gobyerno, lalo-lalo na sa period na to.
You were quoted as saying, Joey, na compel with compassion as the strategy. Are you happy with the way the law was envisioned? Compel everyone, then compassion, di ba? Ganun ba yung style? Are you happy with the law that how it came out?
Sa akin, okay naman. Actually, marami nga doon na pang dilute eh. So, ibig sabihin na virtually, dapat blanket yung authority ng presidente kung which parts of the budget that he wants to stop or suspend or cancel. Ngayon, hindi na. Suspend na lang. At the same time, kung alin po mga projects na to, pwede pa po niyang, it had 2-year life wherein it can be prioritized. And second, with respect kung saan gagamitin, nilagyan po talaga ng mga specific items kung saan dapat, kumbaga, the House and the Senate directed essentially where the realignments should be prioritized. So in effect, I think nando pa rin po yung spirit ng the Congress, essentially as the voice of the people na we're giving guidance to the president with respect to the use of the emergency powers.
Good. So you're talking about the use of the emergency powers, no? Meron ba tayong dyan, ginagawang some kind of an independent body to oversee the use of these funds, and probably gawin naman nating transparent. Diba? I saw that every Monday they have to report. Paano ba yon? How does that work?
Every Monday magre-report po siya kung magkano ginamit niya, saan niya kinuha yung pera, at kung saan niya dinala. So may oversight powers po yung Congress. And I think every congressman can essentially publish those reports unless they are national security concern siguro. Pero in general, I think since it's all about where you got the money and alin ba yung kumbaga in-impound niya na expenditure at kung saan niya dinala. So basically, it's sources and uses of funds report.
And there was a provision of 5,000 pesos to 8,000 monthly subsidy for 2 months for about
Wala
18
naman.
million households. Tama ba yon? Di ba nightmare ang
Yan yung
pag-distribute niyan? Paano ba yan?
yan yung plano pero wala po yun sa batas. So basically po, yan yung parang we needed the realignment capacity to be given to the president, and kung saan niya gagamitin yan, it was well explained during the explanation in the floor kung saan niya pagagamitin. Una-una, yung 18 million, that's about 73% of all households. Ano ba yung strategy? First, nilagay po natin yung ECQ para po talaga ma-limit po yung transmission, or to slow down the transmission, or you flatten the curve and you reduce the transmission or the infection, and of course you also reduce yung deaths. So kasi if you want to limit or slow down the transmission, then you have to starve the virus. And if you look at, for example, the NGCP volumes, you medyo sila yung 10,000 na the week before the ECQ, we're doing about 10,000 megawatts in Luzon. Now we're down to 4,000. So essentially, we're down to residential and essential commercial and industrial volume. So we have drained the pond. So kumbaga, so ngayon na nasa ECQ na tayo, kailangan na po natin na sinet up kagad yung sistema para po ma-ensure po yung supply chain po ng pagkain at saka ng iba pong mga basic essentials. So yan po yan. Kaya nilinis po natin yung unang-una walang traffic, pangalawa po pagdating sa mga checkpoints. So talagang work in progress po yung mga IATF orders and mga systems and mechanics. So ngayon, we now have to increase the incentive for compliance for 60 million people in Luzon. Essentially, they should comply with the ECQ para to increase its effectiveness. Para ang ayaw natin na sana within this 30 days, ma-achieve na po natin yung na ma-reduce ng risk ng infection, para po hindi na tayo kailangan pag slowly natin binitiwan o nag-ease tayo ng lockdown, kung bigla pong pumalo, babalik na naman tayo sa dati. So mas expensive po yung para sa ekonomiya. Kaya po yung ginagawa po natin na unlike if you compare it, for example, the one approved in the US, yun ang kanila essentially already has some form of stimulus. Sa atin, basically dextrose IV para lang for people to stay home. So we are trying to essentially do away with kasi pag hindi mo pinapasok, hindi mo essentially we shut down the economy for that period para people can para there is no human to human transmission. So importante na rin po ngayon na wag ho sila magutom para hindi ho sila lalabas ng bahay. So at least ma-minimize po.
Itong sinabi mo nga, good thing you said 30 days, no? Di ba the law's effectivity daw is supposed to be 3 months?
And dami kasi mga post.
Paano kung hindi natin kaya? Like for example, after 30 days, andyan pa. So nagpipeak pa tayo.
Ano nakalagay naman doon, for as long as the risk exists So after 60 days so we can still use the emergency powers. Pero most likely, babalik din naman kami sa May 4. So importante po talaga sa amin na makagawa ng what you can call yung Bayanihan 2 package, which is now with respect to social recovery and economic reconstruction effort. So yun na po ang next na kailangan po.
So there's another, is that another law, Joey? Is that another law?
Yeah. Actually, yung law na pinasko, kaso hindi ko na in-insist, I passed the bill that would have combined both. Essentially, one, that yung nandito po ngayon sa Republic Act 11469, meron ng, yun po ay HB 6616. Yan po yung kay Cayetano bill. Yung akin po ay HB 6619, but it provides already for what you can call a business recovery plan, plus of course a stimulus plan. So I think magkakaroon po tayo ng Bayanihan Part 2. And ang nakikita ko between less po nitong 300 billion, siguro mga additional po na mga I'm looking at about 1.3 billion. Of that, I think what I'm trying to propose is about mga 600 billion for negative interest loans to big business. Yung mga key businesses talaga na for as long as they don't, wag sila magtatagal ng empleyado. At siguro mga 300 billion naman para po sa mga slow, ay dito po sa mga SMEs. And then eventually, of course, we need to provide support again to yun pong tinatawag natin, kasi pinakamalaking multiplier talaga sa economy natin is yung build, build, build. So I think we can have build, build, build plus. So I'm calling this Bayanihan 2 as rebuild, build, build, essentially. So yung negative real interest rates, I think will definitely play a prominent role, wherein kung meron ka pang utang sa amin na pinautang ka, then it will be there will be let's say Land Bank and DBP, they can of course lend to other banks, and then yung ang mangyayari po dyan, kung imbis na magbayad ka ng interest, it is negative negative interest rate. So imbis na let's say 100 million ang bayaran mo every year, 100 million ang inutang mo, imbis ng yung babayaran mo na capital na loan principal ay yung 90 million lang. So that's essentially a way of ensuring that the people will, that the businesses will not hindi po nila tatanggalin ng mga trabahador. Ay ang feeling ko as an analyst, mukhang kailangan po ng mga 10-year tenor or for this adjustment, for this economic adjustment.
You're talking about
components.
Oo. So Joey, tatlong component yan.
One, yung malalaking, yung definitely yung mga essential businesses natin. Pangalawa, yung mga SMEs. Pangatlo naman, yung I think for our infrastructure, this may be a good time really, especially to invest, let's say, in tagal na natin hindi ininvestan, like our health infrastructure. So, yun po ang nakikita ko na essential elements o shape po ng isang what I can call our own kind of stimulus, although mas madali po yan dahil easy to total meron naman tayong fiscal space. Our debt to GDP is 41. We have enough dollars, and we have monetary space. Yung 300 bips plus yung 50 bips plus 200 RR, pero tingin ko in a case like this mas maganda sana kung nagrepo na lang siguro nagrepo na lang sa market para talaga may liquidity mismo. We could have bought back all our treasury bills from the market, essentially through BSP operations. But that would come, I think, basically on June, July. That is when I expect we could start what I call a risk stratified stabilization and normalization. So, and then saka natin ilalatag po yung I think for 18 months what I could see as a base 1.3 trillion social recovery and economic restructuring.
1.3 trillion, Joey. So that's about like, is that sinabi mo yun I think you were quoted as saying this will cost the economy around 1.5 or 1.3 trillion. Yan lang lahat ng sinabi mo. Diba?
Meron naman akong prueba dyan kasi ito po yung I would expect that if you have a pessimistic lockdown, if we extend it, there's still a health emergency does not abate, economy in recession U-shape. I think we expect na magne-negative 1.2 tayo ngayong second quarter. Tapos yung first quarter 1.2. So We think for the whole of 2020, we might have the first recession since 1998 of negative 0.3. That is, however, a U-shape. But if we have a reasonable lockdown, reasonable scenario, we achieve some success, reasonable stimulus enacted, that's what I'm saying, so that can prompt a V-shaped recovery. So we can expect for 2020 about a 2.9% GDP growth rate. So next year, hopefully that we can re-accelerate to 4.0% GDP growth rate. So
Wow,
yan ang
2.5. So you were saying na
alin.
on the first two quarters tayo medyo negative tayo. First quarter, second quarter medyo negative
Yung
tayo.
first quarter kasi, tinamaan tayo, March na eh. Tsaka delayed, March 16, unang araw. So, kaya-kaya pa po mag-positive. Although there are already elements of weakness, essentially imported weakness. Pero yung second quarter, kasi di ba, January 23, nagsimula magkaroon ng konting gulo. So, mukhang, pero anyway, these numbers are past eh. What is critical, what's clear is that for Q2, I think it will be negative 1.2 for 2020. So for the full year, I think we might do negative 0.3, assuming po na yung lockdown is not effective, and therefore we might have a more protracted health emergency.
Oh wow, negative 0.3. So I don't know if you recall, no, for the viewers right there, as hindi nyo natatanong, kami ni Joey dati, we go way back, we were both young before. Yeah, Joey was an economist and head research of one of the largest foreign stockbroker, no? And I guess we were talking before. I was a fund manager of some funds, and he was helping discuss this economic views, no? And Joey, sinabi mo this economy will be hit probably negative 0.3 for worst case. No? Ano ba assumption mo? Mga ilang months tayo na lockdown, and how do you compare that in the 1997? You know, 1997 financial crisis, di ba? Yeah.
I'm assuming na is graduated for every unit of lockdown would be additional 15 days. So I am assuming for this we might have 2 units or another additional 30 days of lockdown. Therefore, that will produce really a recession. So between 15 to 30, I guess even a 15-day, I think it will produce a negative 0.3 for 2020. So kung sakasakali po, ang feeling ko na we haven't seen the peak. So we might need, just in case po, na what are the measures in order to contain, because that's your second question. What are the health measures to contain infection and prevent the second peak?
Yeah.
So we might need extension of the emergency power or parts of it on quarterly increments, as this will be necessary for carrying out a recovery plan anyway. It's good for the recovery anyway. Aggressive expansion of intensive care facilities, kasi mukhang meron lang tayo 1,300 dito sa Metro Manila. So mukhang mag-aabot po tayo ng mga 2,400 ang requirements natin. Nag-average po na siya ng 21 days to 30 days in ICU itong mga taong to. And nahihirapan doon tayo mamili ng PPEs. We might see extension of lockdown in increments of 15 days, depending on the health outcomes. And I think increasingly we need to stratify risk, and we need to identify high-risk locations. So essentially, we need to have what you can call lock-ins or lock-outs, lalong-lalo na sa mga regions na may zero. So we can start, let's say, with some risk stratified, although natatakot pa ako ngayon dahil yung testing, kailangan po talaga ma-ratchet natin to about, I say, minimum of 5,000 per day. We're just likely next week we'll do 1,500, and then the following week mga at least makapag 10,000 kagad tayo. Consider class suspension for the rest of the year, facilitate arrangement based on the implications of a suspension, aggressive sanitation and disinfection, just like Wuhan, resumption of government work post-lockdown except for employees above 60 years old, resumption of private work post-lockdown except for those above 60 years of age with risky pre-existing conditions, sustain social distancing measures in areas where work has resumed. I'm just trying to answer your second question, actually. So, yan.
Good, good, good.
I think
Lumabas
so,
talaga yung
1.3.
pagka-analyst. 1.3.
So basically 2.3 to plus the current 0.3, which is the 275. So you might see a 1.6 billion talaga adjustment program. So of that, 1.3 trillion would be what you can call a stimulus program. So a restart to reboot the economy essentially. So
Joey,
dun sa 5,000 to 800, meron din ako full study niyan. Ito, ano ba yung mga dapat bigyan? One, yung mga CCT, madali lang yan. Kasi yan, 4.4 million sila. May mga bank account na po siyan. Nagsimula yung 2008. Yung mga social pension para senior citizen, madali din po yan. I-top out mo din yung 4-piece top out din. Yung mga 4.4 million na mga MWE or minimum wage earners na hindi natin pinapasok, I think DOLE has the capacity to do CAMP. They have now CAMP, which is the COVID Adjustment Measures Program. Yung pinakamalaki talagang problema natin is yung mga informal sectors. So kailangan mo talaga ng LGUs yan. So ang panglaban po natin yan, 2018 po ito sinimula, which is called TUPAD. So this is yung mga para sa yung mga sa OFWs displaced, kaya na rin po yan ng DOLE. So basically ang problema natin, number one, there are multiple eligibilities. So baka yung 18 million hindi lahat ma-serve dahil yung iba have too many eligibilities. Although the rule should be one unit, I'm proposing to unitize it. Pero dapat one per family lang yung bigyan nung
Okay, so ang dami niyan, Joey, ang dami niyan. So I guess if for example, putting things in perspective, what could be the worst case or even the best case scenario for us? Ano nakikita mong worst case saka best case sa atin? As far as the economy is concerned.
Effective sana yung ECQ para hindi na kailangan dagdagan pa ng wala na extension, so we can allow certain parts of the economy to restart. So mukhang kaso si Trump yun ang sinasabi kaya natatakot tuloy ako eh. That would be the best, and yung kasi I have naman a reasonable and well, it's a very short term kasi all these things naman will come to pass eh. Pero it seems that the markets are so sensitive, so definitely kailangan may mga handle sila. So ang nakikita ko dito ay ang optimistic is lockdown is very effective, flattens the curve, reasonable risk stratification, good stimulus is passed by Congress. We will do 3.3% this year, and we will escalate to 5.1 next year. So the reasonable scenario is that the lockdown is somewhat success with lapses, and then there is a reasonable success and not too V-shaped. So that means 2.9 this year and 4.0 next year. And my pessimistic is negative 0.3% next year. In other words, extension of lockdown, persistence of health emergency. The economy is essentially in a recession in 2020, and we are seeing negative 0.3 this year, and next year 2.9 lang. Maano lang naman kasi very healthy pa naman yung flow ng ating pong mga reform measures. Kung aprobahan lang po halimbawa sa Senado, yung ating pong mga na-approve na sa House, immediately meron tayong 4 na home run dun eh. Kasi marami na kami na-submit doon na mga reform measures is really, I think we might need to prod the Senate here because a lot of these measures have been approved in the lower house, yung PSA amendments, yung SITIRA, yung well, I don't know, bala nasa inyo yan, PIPITA, and of course we have of course the real property valuation and and Real Property Valuation Act. So these are very critical to moving yung ating pong investments essentially, kasi investment ang goal pa rin naman is to shift from consumption to investment-driven growth para po mas sustainable. So, pangalawa, sabi ko na kanina, yung fiscal and monetary natin has enough space. And third, of course, is mukhang kahit soft state tayo, pero yun ang kinakatakutan ninyo kagad, yung first question nyo. Compare mo halimbawa, ano ba yung nakapag-address dito? China, South Korea, Japan, they're very strong states, or Singapore. Pero despite that, tayo lang nakapag-pass ng emergency powers. Gawa nga po talaga, and the first one to do a virtual special session. So I guess it shows that we have that capacity to adjust even within this framework, and it shows na there is meron pa tayong may tiwala po tayo sa ating gobyerno.
Good. Sana naman. Sana naman ma-implement natin na maayos. So basically a U-shape ang nakikita mo. Base case, medyo U-shape tayo.
No, the pessimistic case.
Pessimistic.
Is really U-shape.
And then a base case mo is a V-shape.
A V-shape, pero hindi ganun na yung isa talaga sharp, parang parang yung ginawa ng markets recently. That's V-shape, which essentially forecast the economy also. So
Joey, let me just go back to 1997, 1998. You were an analyst then before. Our economy declined by -0.5 in 1998. -0.5 tayo ng Asian financial crisis. I don't know kung maalala mo yun, ano?
Naalala ko.
Medyo, how different are we there then? How do you compare it now? Are we in a worse case now? Are we better off?
Yung kasi financial yun eh. Yung financial economy talaga yung nasasaktan nun. Dito may physical shutdown talaga eh. So at least we are shutting down essentially 72% of the entire economy, which is your Luzon economy. So makikita mo kaagad yan dun sa yung industrial, yung NGCP volumes. Nung dati nagti-10,000 tayo, ngayon nagpo-4,000 megawatts na lang tayo. That immediately tells you na yun ang pinaka-basic difference nun. There's output reduction or output restraint. So para nga hindi kumalat po para walang papasok sa trabaho, walang papasok sa klase. So para po walang magta-transmit po ng infection basically. So yun ang pinaka-main difference yung dalawa. Yung isa kasi was essentially through it was the nag-accumulate tayo na masyadong marami, umutang tayo ng dollar denominated or foreign currency denominated debt. Tapos pumutok yung depreciation kasi nag-alisan yung mga bumagsak, tumaas po yung risk premium ng emerging market risk. So maraming mga kumpanya, it is the financial that affected the real. Here's the other way around. It is the real that's affecting the financial. That is the basic difference between the two.
So you're saying that we're better off now. You think we can recover faster now?
Oo naman. Noong mga panahon na yun, yung ating CPSD was very negative. Yung ating pong NG deficit to GDP was very negative. So ngayon po naman kontrolado pa naman. I think for this, makita mo kaagad kung gaano ka kasi yung inaproba namin emergency power, essentially reallocation, not new. It is not a new authorization. Kasi katulad ng US, they authorize essentially new appropriations of 2 trillion, which is about 8% of US GDP. Sa atin hindi. Pwede pa nga masabi na deficit neutral yung emergency powers. Although we know that because of the shutdown, there will be massive revenue loss of about 98.6 billion.
Ganun lang? Ganun lang? O 900?
Yung revenue, 98 billion. So magna 900 po yung deficit. So magpa 5% deficit tayo.
Fiscal deficit ka, 5% lang.
NG deficit. NG deficit to total
NG
GDP.
deficit.
Oo, kasi remember 175 kinuha natin sa GOCC. Diba? Meron pa tayong pretending. Pero talagang hindi mo ayaw pa nila ibigay yung road to A. Kasi remember na naapektuhan yung GDP yung ating NG deficit, pero sa CPSD pwede mag-negative. So ngayon, ginagamit natin yung reserves natin sa corporate government corporate side to support the NG. So ang suma total niyan, yung NG deficit is imbis ng kumawala is limited to only 5% of total GDP, at ang revenue loss is only the revenue loss is only 98.6 billion. Hinahanap ko eh.
Almost 100 billion lang. Almost 100 billion lang.
Oo, yung revenue loss. At yung deficit, kakawala lang ng ano. Wait lang. So I'm like 15 days kasi I know, ako naman, it's very reasonable as an analyst to see what's happening in Wuhan. And given yung mga vulnerabilities natin to China, like yung Pogos, ilang kagad yan, 300,000 o max o 150,000 minimum, tapos 1.3 million tourists, tapos yung ating trade relations, yung at business relations with China. So I think sabi ko yung at napaka-porous naman ng Pilipinas in terms of yung ating pong your border control agencies like customs and immigrations are not trained to catch virus. They are trained to catch smugglers and and essentially human trafficking. So I think that would be one of the changes that needs to be done. Pero kitang-kita mo na kaagad na sabi ko hindi tayo exempted. Although may lumalabas nga ngayon dito nagsimula daw to lahat sa Asia because of that something in Malaysia that had 16,000 like a religious charitable organization. So almost doon nagsimula lahat ng pagkalat po ng virus, yung WG. Ewan ko kung nabasa mo, the WG organization. Kasi the bulk of the Southeast Asian infections actually are being traced to that. One single event. Kaya ganun din ako katakot. Kasi kung ganun ang mangyayari, hanapin mo na yung mga high-risk areas mo. Actually, okay na sana ang Pilipinas sa ECQ eh. Ang problema ko lang, yung mga palengke, talipapa, sobra pa rin.
Public transport. Public transport.
Hindi. Wala dyan. Hindi yan. Malinis yan. Yung mga talipapa at saka yung mga iskinita. So yung pagising mo pag umaga, makita mo paglabas mo ng bahay, kasi nasa Facebook ako, makikita mo yung mga tao nagchichismisa, nagkape-kape. Sa atin ang dami pang lumalabas eh. Punta ka lang ng San Juan, makikita mo agad kasi kinukwento sa akin yung mga namamalengke para sa akin. I think there's still some people in our markets, in our skin. So yun ang natitirang. At okay lang kung walang infection cluster, kaso may mga what you can call the
vectors.
Yes, yung vectors, density.
Joey, I wouldn't take too much of your time. Pero can you just say some closing remarks for our viewers, no? Para naman to give some perspective in everything that you said today.
Number one, nadaanan natin to AFC, GFC, at ang importante po kung anong ginagawa ng gobyerno. Mukhang data-driven ang ating pong policy making and strategy formulation. And I think the Philippines still well placed because one of our demographics, our median age is still 23.9. Second is, of course, we have a healthy flow of structural reforms. Third, we have um, monetary space and, of course, fiscal space. And I think, once this whole thing is, kumbaga, has bottomed out, I think we will be, isa tayo sa mga, we will be an outperformer once once a recovery starts. I think we will again we will outperform much of the other markets in the region or the world.
Well, thank you very much for your time. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Congressman Joey Salceda giving us a view of where from a lawmaker and from an analyst, giving us information more about the emergency powers of the president as well as the effects on our economy because of this virus. So as he said, we've been through hard times before, and we've been through a lot of storms, the Asian financial crisis, the global financial crisis. We just don't know how long this COVID-19 will take, but I'm sure at the end of each storm, the sun always comes up. So good luck to all of you. Stay safe and have a restful week. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.